Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Ask the Expert session with Jeannine Riant on tips for avoiding entrepreneurial burnout. We're so excited to have you all here, and we're so excited to hear from Jeannine today. Before we get started, my name is Caitlin Thibodeau. I'm the Marketing and Engagement Coordinator with SEED. For those of you who don't know, SEED is a nonprofit organization. We're the Center for Entrepreneurship, Education, and Development, and we offer a wide variety of supports and programming to help support entrepreneurs. So today, I just want to acknowledge before we get started that we are located in Mi'kmaq, which is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And I am going to pass it off to Jack here to introduce our fantastic speaker for the day.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin. My name is Jack Simpson. I'm the Entrepreneurship and Communications Coordinator here at SEED. And I just want to extend a huge thank you to Jeannine for being with us here today. So Jeannine is the founder of Fully Aligned, a business focused on personal healing, empowerment, and alignment. And Jeannine's expertise centers on self-alignment and intuitive guidance. She facilitates workshops and retreats that incorporate various wellness practices, including yoga, sound healing, breath work, meditation, and chakra alignment. These events aim to help participants release negative energy, find inner peace, and achieve personal growth. Today's Ask the Expert session is designed to equip you with the practical tools and insights to prevent burnout while staying energized and focused. Jeannine will guide you through strategies to recognize early signs of burnout and take proactive steps, create sustainable work-life boundaries, and build habits that enhance focus, productivity, and well-being. So thank you so much, Jeannine, for being here. I'll pass it over to you.
Lovely. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Caitlin. I am grateful to be here and grateful for all of you joining in. I know taking time out of our day sometimes is something that we don't do. Hence, the topic of, do you work all the time or do you take time for things that you like to do? So burnout is not something we're unfamiliar with, I don't think, as a society. It's something that maybe those of you here have already been through, have maybe felt the edge of it, have been kind of tiptoeing towards it, and maybe you're not quite sure even what it looks like. So I am someone who likes to bring people through more experiential pieces. So there will be some of that. And I always like to start off when I connect with a group of people with just coming in together and coming into our grounding, coming into our center. So we're going to start with some breath work, and it'll be very short, but it'll help us kind of focus, connect, and also help retain or gather the information a little more clearly. I will bring you through possibly reflection moments that might have you looking into what it is that how you're moving with your entrepreneurial journey, or if you're, I don't know if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're working on your own with someone, if you're an intrapreneur, that kind of thing. But let's just take a moment and ground, and then we'll go from there. So I would invite you to either close your eyes, or you can just gaze to the center of the floor, wherever you're at. Just find a comfortable seat. And we're just going to do a nervous system regulation of the breath. So we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And we hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If it's too long, find your own rhythm. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 10, 9. Nice and slow. 6, 5, 4, 3. All the way out to 2 more times. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Shoulders down. 6. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a big inhale and exhale. Find your normal rhythm of breath. A simple exercise right there. You can do it anytime during the day, whether you're at your office, at your desk, taking a walk. Things that we don't necessarily always take a moment to do or think about doing. The breath is our biggest piece of information. We came into this world with breath, and we'll leave this world without our breath. And yet we spend so little time connected and connecting with our breath. So I hope that kind of brought you back from wherever you were running around and buzzing around this morning to here. And I'd like to just start off with when my moments of burnout came, and I'll be very brief, but when I was a principal for 10 years, I would notice burnout in the teachers and the staff that were working with and around me. And I would call them in my office and I would say, hey, I think you might need to take a few days off. And they'd be like, what? What do you mean? I said, well, I'm just noticing you're kind of off. You're coming in maybe a little late. You're doing things that aren't in your normal patterns of doing. And I feel that if you take a few days off, you might come back refreshed. And I did that for 3 teachers. And at the time, 2 of them, I invited them to take a week off. And I said, go see someone, just talk to someone, just kind of release what's happening. And they came back and all of them said, thank you. Their classroom didn't fall apart. Their life didn't fall apart. The world around them kept going. And when they came back, they were able to continue that year and end the year. And one of them even told me at the time, if you wouldn't have invited me to take a week off, I probably would not have ended the year. And then move forward, my 10th year as a principal, one day, teachers came to me at a staff meeting and said, you need to take a break. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? They said, that's what you would do to us. And that's what you would invite us to do. And we see that things in your life aren't quite aligned as they usually are. And that year, my life was falling apart. And so I would close the door, I would arrive at work, close the door, and I would cry behind the door. And then they would come in and everything would be, I'd put on the fake mask, I'd put on the, nope, everything is good, everything is okay, we're going to keep going. And they had devised a plan about who would be principal while I was gone and who would do this and who would take over and take the time off. And I kind of lost my emotional that in that meeting. And I said thank you, and I took 3 weeks off. One of them was the March break, which they had kind of pieced together. And so I took time for me, and I was able to end the year. Nothing fell apart. Everything kept going. And I was able to gather myself enough to realize that I wasn't engaged in being at the school anymore, and it was time for me to move on. That was my first kind of brush with burnout. This past year, for the last 2 years, I planned an International Women's Summit. And it was during the Acadian Congress that happened. I am an Acadian from the French Shore, and so I was invited to plan a 3-day international summit. And it was to happen August 13th, 14th, 15th. June came along, and I started to notice what was happening in my body. And one of the big pieces that we have to realize when it comes to burnout is we have to start listening to our bodies. And that is my biggest piece, my biggest message. The work that I do is bringing people into their bodies and become self-aware. In June, I was very aware that I was heading towards a place that wasn't going to be so great. I was also aware in my head that if I decided to stop at this moment, 8 weeks before the summit, there would be no summit. And it would fall apart because I had all the information. I was the one in the head of the game doing it. So I had to let something go. What did I let go? I let go my own business. My business suffered through it. I couldn't do it all. I couldn't piece all the pieces together, make it make sense, and have my mental capacity to a place where I was functioning properly. So I had to make the decision to say, all right, business for the next few months is put aside. Did it fall apart? No, because I'm still here. But did it take a hit? A little bit, yeah. What I realized when I finished that summit, I was in total burnout. The minute that summit finished, my body broke down physically. My ankles literally let go underneath me. I would come in to my home, walk up 10 stairs. My heart was palpitating, and I would land on the couch and I would sleep 3 hours. And for 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks, I would find myself naps, 2 hours, 3 hours. I would come and sit in the computer, try to get the business going again. And there was brain fog. There was tears. There was emotions coming up. It was all a blur. And all I kept thinking was, I have to get my business going because I have to pay the bills. And then my body would say, no, you're going to go take a nap on the couch right now. And that's what my body needed. I could have resisted. I could have said, nope, I have to keep going. I have to make it happen. I have to work through this. I have to push through this. And I think the awareness was enough to say, if I push through this, I won't have a business in the end because I won't want to come back to it. So I took the time for me. I took those 2 to 3 weeks to take a step back, to look at my health, to look at what was happening, to honor when my body was tired, to honor that I didn't need to go to the next networking event or the next thing that was happening to put myself visible out there. And I shifted things around. It took 2-3 weeks for me to start wanting to step back into my business. I say this because as entrepreneurs, we think if I don't work 24/7, if I don't do it myself, it's not going to get done. Nothing got done, but that's okay. If I don't make the magic happen, who's going to do it for me? I need to hustle. I need to grind, or else it's not going to be a success. And this path, this time, showed me that it is okay to take a step back. It is okay to stop. It is okay to take that moment. Because if not, you're not going to have the energy and the awareness, the capability to continue to move forward. So my invitation to you today is to take a moment as you hear me speak, as we go through these exercises or whatever we'll be moving through, depending on if there's questions, and feel free to place questions in the chat if anything comes up. Caitlin will let me know. But to take a moment and reflect on where you are. Are you getting up every morning, grinding, the hustle? You're not taking breaks. You don't have time to take breaks. You don't have time to go step out on the deck and take a breath of fresh air. You don't have time to go for a walk. You don't have time to take that Monday morning off and go meet someone for coffee just for fun. You don't have time. Are you limiting yourself in the box of time and saying, if I stop, it's not going to get done? Just reflection, just noticing. I think when we move into the burnout space, it's kind of, we didn't pay attention. There's that fine line of we're going, we're moving, it's great, and then stuff starts to wobble. And when it starts to wobble, we're like, oh, it's okay, it's just this, it's just that. And we jump over the wobbles and we keep going, but then the wobbles get even more, and then they start to crash. So when are you going, or are you, or do you need to, or are you in it, or are you noticing that you've kind of stepped away from the wobble where are you at right now? That's one of my first pieces of reflection. If when I was in that burnout place just this past summer, and then September came, and I took those 2 to 3, end of August, beginning of September, I took those 2 to 3 weeks to kind of come back to myself. Then I kind of stepped back into the business, and my daughter called me and she said, Mom, would you like to come to Guatemala with me for 10 days in October? There was a big piece of me that was resisting it because I was like, well, I can't do that. What will happen to my business? A moment where my daughter actually asks me to go hang out with her for 10 days in another country where financially, maybe it's not, how shall I say it? I could have had those funds to do something else, but at the same time would have missed out on this experience. And I needed the shift. So I did go, even though my business was not in the movement of flow as I wanted it to be. When I came back, I did my body some soul, my soulful, good, regenerative soul, connected with my daughter. And then I came back and I was able to face the decision, do I keep going or do I stop? Do I center and anchor myself back in my business fully, or do I move on to something else? And I did decide to anchor back fully. And since then, things have been moving on at full speed ahead in ways that I don't even expect things to happen. What do I do now? I take a step back. And I think as entrepreneurs, we don't tend to take a step back. We just go. That step back when overwhelm hits, when that panic and anxiety and the palpitations of the heart start to come, I'm like, okay. And then you feel like sometimes I would feel myself going, okay, it's okay. And then I would just kind of try and focus, but it would become all a blank and I didn't know how to move forward with it. What do I do now? I leave the workspace. I leave the room. I go outside. I take a breath. I literally jump up and down. I give myself a stretch. All these things, when I'm in that overwhelmed space that I feel it coming, I'm listening to my body and its signals. I step away. Our intuitive or what's counterintuitive is to step away. Our societal norms and ways of being is, okay, you got to do it. You got a time crunch. You've got this. You've got to move forward. Stepping away takes that panic, overwhelm, peace out. It lets you take a breath. It lets you ground. And maybe grounding is an unfamiliar term for you. Maybe it's a very familiar term. But to ground and to inhale, exhale, and fully feel your feet on the floor, whether you're inside or outside. Just taking that moment and then coming back, sitting down, and noticing what's the next thing that needs to happen. What's the one next thing that needs to happen right now? Doesn't have to be a whole list. Just one thing. And if you can focus on that one thing that you know needs to happen right now, you focus on that. And then all of a sudden, that overwhelmed feeling passes because everything is temporary. It does not stay. And then all of a sudden, you can move on your day. If we don't take that moment to step back, that overwhelm can transform our day into chaos. And it can transform our day into a roller coaster snowball of stuff that we weren't even wanting to attract. And so inviting you to take that step back. I would like to just reflect as you hear these statements, for you to just reflect. And I don't know, let me just check. I have the chat here.
Yeah, I think we have one question for you, Jeannine.
Yeah, I see it there. Thanks, Jack. I'll have a look. I have a question for Jeannine when she's ready. What should you do when you try to take a step back and rest, but your mind stays engaged and you struggle to let yourself rest? Like mentally, you can't unplug. Great question. I call it a pattern interrupt. So I, personally, I'll just go around the house and clap like loud. a clap, I jump up and down. I will go outside on the deck and I'll stretch. It's moving the body in ways that the mind is like, wait, I'm trying to think here. And your body's like, what? Like you can literally use your voice. You can, if you're in a place where you can kind of give a little yell, it doesn't have to be super loud, but we want to create that pattern interrupt. So it can be created in a physical sense, or it can be created in also your mind. Your mind can create gibberish. It can create, so you can kind of turn the whole thing to like, woo, like it sounds silly, looks silly, but it's a way to shift so that mind can kind of, okay, it's not grabbing a hold of you. Breath. I know it's easy to say just breathe, but finding breath, and sometimes it's more than just one breath. Maybe it's like, okay, I just need to put a timer for 5 minutes and literally focus on my breath. And you might find, even maybe in the exercise we did in the beginning, that you were having a hard time focusing on your breath, maybe not. But bringing that breath in, counting, and focusing on where the breath is moving, how it's feeling, and maybe on your second breath, you're already back in your thoughts. It's like, okay, wait, I lost the breath. Go back to the breath and practice. So practice coming back to the breath all the time. So when that thought comes in, and it's a muscle. I always say, practice your muscle with the little things so that when the big things pop, that breath can anchor you solidly, right? So movement, jumping, voice, singing, doing all kinds of like weird noises, stepping into that place of pattern interrupt. I'm not sure if that helps, but okay. All right. I see there's no one. What about longer term breaks? If I try to take a week off, it's like I can't resist work or activity. Yeah. What's your body saying? So this is the part of awareness of the body. And it's discipline in a way, but it's also honoring I see dancing and music, absolutely. Yeah. Put that big music on and go for it. So it's training ourselves in a way that if we can take that long break, yeah, there'll be stuff to do when we come back. But it's just stuff. And our society has trained us to be like, oh, well, if you take a break, then when you come back, you're going to have all these things to do. And how are you going to do it? And how are you going to manage it? And then if you have kids and if you have a family and if you have all that on top of all of that, well, then there's all of that. And it becomes, well, why would I take a break? Because when I come back, there's just going to be too much. But take the break when you come back, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And if that mental state, I mean, it will be practice. It will be you moving through the urge of, oh, but I'm taking a break. I'm home. I could do this. I used to be up till midnight doing websites, figuring out, making sure. It took me a while to wean off of that flow of like, okay, I can't be like, what am I doing here till midnight doing stuff when I could be just chilling. But I live alone and it was easy and it was what I did. And it was, sometimes, yeah, we have to hustle and grind because some things need to be done. But those are moments in time. They're the moments, they're the pieces. When we start to do it all the time and we notice that pattern, that's when we need to really start to look at, okay, this is not good for my health. It's not good for my mental health. Might not be sleeping well. If I'm up till midnight, probably I'm not able to sleep as well. I know it was the case for me. And so I had to stop saying, okay, 10 o'clock, I went from midnight to 10 o'clock. Okay, 10 o'clock, I'm done. And then now most evenings, it's like, unless I'm offering an event or a session or drumming or a sister circle or that kind of thing, but that's where I love to play. That to me is my play. The work is, okay, I need to find clients. I need to do this. I need to go network. I need to do all those things as an entrepreneur. But the actual work that I do, that's when I'm playing. That's where I feel I'm in my element. So It's what can you do to start taking away that piece of, okay, this needs to go. I'm gonna leave it here. And when I come back, if I go into panic, overwhelm, and look at all the stuff, I'm gonna take a walk away again. And I'm just going to come back and say, where's my priority list? What do I need to do now? What do I need for me? What do I need for the business? I had stopped going to the chiro. I had stopped going to for massage. I had stopped going for, exchanging with friends who we do exchange and healing. I wasn't taking care of me. And it was very evident come April, May, right up to just before my trip to Guatemala, that I was like, okay, I'm not even going outside anymore. I'm not even going for a 10-minute walk or a 20-minute walk or whatever. I need to start come back to me. And prioritization is so important. And I have that piece of planning. I just started planning this fall. I'm a go with the flow kind of girl. And go with the flow is great. And it has gotten me to many places. But I've realized that if I take 2 hours to plan, then the work gets done much more efficiently because I know where I'm going instead of, okay, all right, what do I need to do today? Okay, let me make a list. And then there's another list the next day. And then there's another list last week that I haven't even touched half of the things because I'm just kind of grasping at what needs to be done. And this past fall, I had a co-op student and she was in work mode. We were both in work mode too and getting things and templates and all the things. And I said, okay, we need to plan. She's like, but if we plan, then it's going to take away from the work time. I said, we need to plan. And so we sat down and towards mid time, again, I went to Guatemala in October. When I came back, I said, okay, every week we're going to spend time planning at least 2 hours, whatever it takes. If we take two sessions of 2 hours. And once we did it, within the next 2 weeks, we looked at each other and went, planning really works. It really does make a difference because you know where you're going. And so there's no more guessing and there's no more, oh my God, did I miss something? Oh, wait, what was, and then your thoughts are taking over. And as an entrepreneur, there are so many things coming in our world. It's like, where do we go? How do we move forward? So planning, prioritizing things in your business, prioritizing things in your personal, letting go of the control. Co-op students have taught me, there are 2 here on this lovely call today, and they've taught me, they're not my co-op, they're Seeds co-op, but I have a co-op here as well. And they've taught me that they are very capable of doing things as well. It's up to us to give them the chance to do it. It's up to us to give them or someone else who's willing to come and help us the capability to, hey, why don't you take this on? Show me what you're going to come up with. And then it's a learning and growing experience for both of us. Instead of having the mindset, well, I'll just do it because it'll be done my way and then it's better and blah, 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 blah. But we're not doing ourselves a service because we still have that control. Control is our biggest piece in moving, growing, evolving, and also letting go. Delegating, letting go of the control, having, if you have the capacity to have someone by your side who's able to help, give them some free rein, give them some liberty to show you what they can do. And you just might be surprised. I've been surprised every time. And so that takes the pressure off of me as an entrepreneur who's kind of who've been in my bubble for so long, trying to piece it all together. And so prioritize, letting go, delegate, find community. And that to me has been a big piece. I did lose my studio in the floods of 2023. And that's when I realized that community was huge. They all came out and they helped me clean the studio, do the thing. And I looked around and said, where are these people coming from? And one person said, you've helped us in the work that you do. We're showing up for you now. It kind of still brings me to tears sometimes when I say it. But I realized the power of community in that moment. I network for business, but I also network because I'm sitting here alone most of the time. moving forward, trying to piece everything together. And I see a couple of people here that I network on the call, and so it's hey. And so it helps to connect to community. It helps to get new ideas, new perspectives, know someone that might be able to help you in this department, in that department, collaborate together, find ways to help each other out. If you're in a pinch, you can shoot off a message to someone and say, hey, whatever, do you mind going for coffee with me? Or I just need, do you know where I can find this person, that thing, this thing? Community and networking for some people is daunting. It doesn't have to be networking. It can be a group of people that you meet with, women, men, a mix of both or different people, like just whoever that holds you, uplifts you, and invites you to do better, be better, and create more. I would highly recommend you find that tribe, whether it's 2 people, 10 people, something you do monthly with a group of people, because that fuels your soul. And as an entrepreneur, you probably are well aware that it can be soul sucking at times. We know what we want to do, we know what we love to do, but then there's all these other pieces, all these foundations, all these things that need to get done. And if we are alone, we can find ourselves alone and it doesn't feel good. So humans need connection. Humans need that back and forth. And so find that for yourself. Any questions? Just so I don't know. Okay. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. I'm just gonna read some statements, and I want you, they're reflective. Just kind of reflect and see if you are seeing yourself in these right now. So, I have to be available 24/7 for my business to succeed. Rest feels like a waste of time when there's too much to do. If I don't do it myself, it won't get done. It won't get done right. Once I hit my next goal, I'll slow down and then I'll take care of myself. I feel guilty when I take time off, because there's always something urgent to do. Success requires sacrifice, and burnout is just part of the journey. I can't remember the last time I had a real stress-free break. So just kind of notice how your body reacted to any of those statements. Maybe it didn't. Maybe there's one that went like, oh, yeah, maybe I'm a bit into that category, maybe not. Guilt is a huge one. Sacrifice in the world of our society is a huge one. It's how we've been ingrained. It's how we've been moved. The younger generation is not as much into that way of thinking and flowing, and they teach us a lot. At least they teach me a lot. But if any of those statements are reflecting and you're kind of, is that me? Take a moment when you get off this call and kind of come back to it and sit with it and see if there's something you can shift around that piece. So I had invited you, I still have a bit more time. I had invited you, and I don't know if I said it right away, so for all of you who joined kind of after, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, and it's something that you can scribble on, like just a plain piece of paper, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, grab it, and let's flow into another small exercise. So take your pen and paper, and I just want you to doodle like you used to do maybe in school. No agenda, no ideas. You're just swirling, scribbling, doodling. That's all you're doing on the piece of paper. No thought. This is another way to clear mental chatter. So just doodle, take a breath in. As you're doodling, letting that page get filled with whatever you want to fill it up with. Take another breath in, just kind of anchoring in on the page that's doodled. And with those reflection statements, is there a word that's popping as you're doodling? If there's a word that's popping and that wants to have your hand, not your head, wants to have your hand start to write words, let your hand start writing words. And we're just going to do this for like 2 minutes. I'm going to be here in silence. You can keep doodling, but if there's something that wants to pop on the paper, let the word take off. And I'll be quiet for the next few minutes. Let's give it another minute. Just try to invite your hand to find completion. Your last few words. If anybody, as you take your final breath in here and just put the pen down, you can come back to this later if something's popping that really needs more attention. Just take a breath in and just kind of look at what you wrote on the piece of paper. And is it pertinent to where you are right now? Is it something that you might need to reflect on a little more? Or is it just a feel-good statement that you needed to hear? And I'm just going to open if someone wants to share, you are welcome to share. We can hear it in voice, or you can put it in the chat, but if someone would like to share, you're welcome to. And if not, that's okay. And if it's a word.
I got 11 words.
11 words. There you go.
But I'm in that space, I guess. So it's all those things like balance, grounding, focus, light, love, joy, embracing uncertainty, growing, expanding, frequency, and happy.
Those are great words.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing, Diane. Yeah. So whatever popped on that paper, just kind of take it with you. This is just a moment in time right here, right now. You can do this exercise again in 10 minutes. Something else will pop. You can do, no worries, you can do the assignment when you get home. But you can do this anytime. And this is also a way to let go that mental chatter. Because what happens is we're letting the hand do the work. We're letting the body do the work. The body has so much wisdom, and we have not been taught to connect with our body and its wisdom. Our education has not showed us from a young age what's happening in the body when things are bubbling up. So by just letting the hand do its thing, you're letting go of the control. The head is going off. Maybe it's still chattering, but that's why you doodle until the word comes from another place of that busy mental chatter. So it might take you 5 minutes to doodle, 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 doodle until all of that kind of dissipates. And then you let whatever wants to flow. And you let it flow however long it wants to go, right? There's no right or wrong or a certain time. It's your flow. And then you read after. You don't read while you're writing. You let the hand do its thing. And then you read, and then there might be a little nugget in there. It could be a creative nugget. It could be an idea you've been struggling with for your business, and all of a sudden, by writing something with we call it free flow, it's like, oh, there it is. There's something for me to kind of move forward with this piece in my business, with this piece in my personal life. You can create an intention before you write. We had just reflective sentences about where are we in our state of business. We're talking about burnout today, but it could be you create the intention. All right, I just want to kind of get a feel on this thing that I'm creating, and then you let that free flow happen. So I hope that was helpful for you as well. We've got about another 10 minutes or so. I just want to really stress the fact that as an entrepreneur, there's deadlines sometimes, but deadlines are just deadlines. They are meant to move. They are meant to shift. I've been working with a deadline every month when it comes to, I want to put out a blog by this date every month. I want to put out a newsletter by this date every month. I want to have a nurture email coming out because, that's what I do. And it's supposed to be on Wednesdays, and it's supposed to be at 10 o'clock. And sometimes that goes out on Friday at 4 p.m. And in the past, that would have really bothered me. That would have really upset me but in a way that, oh God, I'm missing the deadline. No one really cares if the email comes on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. or if it comes on a Friday at 4 p.m. And by relieving those stresses of deadlines, life flows so much easier. And it really, truly does. And those are smaller deadlines, but they do impact my business. But what if I have a big contract, a proposal that needs to be on the table by 10 a.m. Friday at the end of the week, and there's no time in my schedule to do it? Something needs to let go. If that deadline is really important to you, you can't do everything else. But in our mindset, when we start off as an entrepreneur, we think, oh, deadline, but I have all these other things that need to be done, so I'm just going to do it all and cram it all, and I'll do this proposal at midnight. This is when we take a step back, we let go, we let fall what was supposed to happen that day, and we focus on the deadline, if that's what the important piece is that week. It took me a long time to realize that that was okay. A very long time. Once I realized that that was okay, I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. And if I aim for that deadline and I miss it, it wasn't meant for me. And that I've come to be very much in agreeance with, if that's a word. My French sometimes steps in. So deadlines, things we need to do, things that need to happen. As an entrepreneur, there are so many things. We can't do it all. We can't do it all. We can't. I'm a believer, and some will believe otherwise. I'm a believer that this whole narrative of you can be a great mom and have a great career and have a wonderful business and be a great, partner to your partner, and it's all beautiful and 100% great is impossible. I've tried to live that. It didn't work. And I see other women and other people try and do it, and something falters. And so don't try and do it all. Take that pressure. Give yourself permission to not do it all. And look at what your priorities are. Look at what needs to happen. And look at how you need to flow. So that's kind of the bigger pieces that I have for you today. We can talk about this probably for a lot longer, but I just wanted to give a few minutes if there were any questions, if anyone had anything that they'd like me to look at in a different angle or more. But opening the floor to questions. or comments or
I think it all comes down to state, and it's that emotion, that feeling that you get. And like you said, let that go, and to bringing that joy or whatever feeling to replace it, and it helps you through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there are days where it's going to be easy. And there are days where it's not going to be easy. Like you say, that state, that frequency, that vibration. But bring it back to the body. We've never been taught in, oh, you're so welcome. Leoniki, am I saying it right? Thank you. But the body has so much power. I've been working with the body since 2006, and it's what has illuminated my path into the fact that there's more than just a 3D physical body on this earth plane, and that we have access to so much more. But we have to learn to connect to our body. We have to learn to be aware of our body. We have to learn to listen to our body. And most times, we don't. Most times, we haven't been taught. And so I had to learn through my mistakes, through meeting people along the way who said, hey, try this. Have you done this? And then I started to find the community of people who were working more in that way. I do a lot of my business from the heart. I do a lot of my business from, does it feel right? And it's just, oh, it feels right, I'm going to go. There's a deeper feeling of connection to my body, to my heart, to that's a yes and that's a no. But I've practiced the muscle with, oh, am I supposed to bring this pen or am I not supposed to bring this pen? And if my body tells me to bring this pen, I bring it. And then that pen, wherever I bring it, there's someone beside me saying, hey, do you have a pen? Yeah. And then there's a connection that's formed. And then that person introduces me to another person who's like, oh my God, I needed to meet you. And then something happens with that person. If I would not have had the pen, we probably wouldn't have had started a conversation. So I listen to my body in those simplest, littlest pieces of, do I need to do this? Do I need to bring this? Am I moving towards that? Am I not? Do I not? And when then you have a bigger piece of, oh, I've been asked to speak here, but my whole body's saying no, but oh my God, that would be such a great opportunity for me to speak over there. But my whole body's saying no, I'm not going to go against the current of the body. And that's how I flow in my business. It's taken me time to practice that muscle. I would say it's 90 to 90%, 95% on point at this point when I truly listen. Intuition, heart, body. So, thank you. I see there's a comment there. Listen to your intuition, heart, brain coherence. Absolutely. I imagine that infinity sign, and imagine the infinity sign going from your head through throat, down into the heart, and coming back through throat and up into the head. And that connection that we have is a coherence, as Diana says. And imagine that energetic flow. That's another exercise that you can just sit, connect, take away the mental chatter. Imagine, it's hard. So, okay, wait, where's that infinity? So how's it going? Okay, wait. And so then your brain focuses on that instead of like, whoa. And so focus on that through throat, down into heart, back into throat, into head. And take your ideas and your thoughts and your emotions and just kind of flow into the energy of that coherence. I could go on and on. I'm not sure if there's anything else.
Yeah. If we don't have any more questions, then we can end it there if you'd like, Jeannine.
Yeah. Does anyone have a comment or anything you'd like to share? I'm always open to hearing others as well. Could I share one more exercise? All right, let me. So, well, there's many in the sense of, so we're looking to, if we're looking to not tap into burnout, so we did planning, stepping back, we've got the pattern interrupt, we've got breath. There's all kinds of different breath. There is, I'll stand for this one, but anything that's movement, if you can see it, but if I were to even like just move, and this is kind of in the Qigong space, it is the Qigong space, but to stand with my knee, my head, my feet hip width apart, and if I just lift my hands, relax my shoulders, bring my hands in, bring my hands down, and then kind of drop my wrists at the end. You can try it with me if you want, even seated. So you inhale, arms up, exhale, arms back, shoulder width, shoulder height, no more. Inhale, arms down. And then at the end, when you exhale, flick your palms down. And so inhale up, exhale back. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Inhale down and flick, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, flick. Inhale, when you're standing up, you can bring your knees up. Exhale, inhale, shift out a little into your knees, and flick. And you just keep doing this. What is this doing? If you start doing this and you do it like 15 times, you will ground. Your energy will start to go towards the floor, and you will start to feel your feet heavy. Why? Because our body holds so much tension. Where does the body release energy? Through our hands, through our mouth and throat, through our crown, through our genital sexual area, the root, and through our feet. And so as we're moving this energy, everything is soft, everything is relaxed, there's no tension, there's a kind of bend in the elbow, and we don't bring our shoulders up, and we start to really inhale, exhale, inhale, and then we flick down when we get with the last exhale. Do that 20 times. My challenge to you as we leave the call, do that 20 times and notice how your feet feel heavy and cemented. That is your energy moving and leaving your body, helping you ground. Release the thoughts, release the pieces, and then come back to what you're doing. Is that helpful? Yeah. So, between breath, movement, dancing, songs, writing, shifting, breathing, there's a lot there.